Hi guys, welcome to our first program, and today we're going to talk about communication. Now briefly I'm going to tell you what we're seeing. We're seeing the three types of communication and some of my experiences with them and how they are important in friendships, relationships, and in love. So let's start with the first one. This one is assertive communication. So I will briefly tell you the definition. Yes, here it is. Assertive communication describes a communication style that is respectful to others but clear and firm in intent. Assertive communication does mean standing up for yourself, but doing so in a way that does not trespass on the rights and feelings of others and respects your own rights and feelings as well. When you communicate assertively, you communicate honestly but appropriately. Well, in my opinion, assertive communication is somehow a variation of the other two types of communications, that is, aggressive and passive. Obviously, always having in mind that although you are defending your own point of view, you and the other person matter equally in the conversation. In this case, you don't lose control, but you don't also let people take advantage of you. I believe it this way because I've been in aggressive discussions as well as passive, and they are just not the right way to communicate with others. They will lead you to fights and your feelings can be really effective. Okay, now we're seeing the next type of communication, that is aggressive communication. Yes. So, aggressive communication can involve yelling or saying rude, cutting, or abusive things. Communicating aggressively can make you feel powerful and can seem effective, as others may fear you and do what you want as a result. However, this sort of communication tends toward bullying behavior that is potentially quite harmful to others and ultimately ineffective. So, I'll tell you like a little experience of mine. With my sister, I'm always fighting, like we never get to an end, literally. So, this day I was searching for some clothes on her closet because they end up there somewhere, like one way or another, and I was searching for them, and then she comes here and yells at me like, what are you doing here? These are my clothes, and that's why they get lost, and you're like stealing them. And she started shouting me and saying mean things to me. So I respond as well, shouting, and it started a fight, ended in discussion, like a horrible discussion, and we didn't get to a conclusion. So aggressive communication is just the worst of all. And now the third type of communication we have is passive communication. Okay, passive communication is submissive and different, avoids conflict at all costs, puts your own needs at last, means giving in to unreasonable demands from others and holding back your opinion. So passive communication tends to avoid negative criticism and strives to avoid the notice of others. It also tends to focus overly on pleasing others at the cost of one's own needs and rights. So I'll tell you my experience with this one. It was so horrible. I hated remembering this. I was in a team when I was in junior high, and everyone was like discussing like, I want to do this for the team, I want to do that, and communication was awful. So I started to give opinions and express myself, and everybody started coming back at me, and they didn't wanted what I said, and they didn't like my ideas and my opinions. So what I did to solve the problem was just stay quiet and just accept what they wanted to do. And that is like, it's so bad because you don't express yourself and then you do something you don't want to, and that's a kind of passive communication that we have to avoid at all costs. So I'll tell you that my communication with other people was either passive or aggressive and never assertive. Now I'll tell you some skills. Yes, indeed, some skills. Right now we have skills. Yes, so you can develop them to help you start communicating assertively, and they also help me as well. So assertiveness is a skill like any other skill, is something you can develop and perfect with practice, even if you are unused to being assertive like me. A good rule of thumb to remember is to always own your own feelings in your communication. It's like using the I statements, and avoid blaming others for your feelings. This is very important. Here's a handy sentence structure to enable you to communicate assertively. So here it goes. We have the when you sentence, and then you have to describe the other person's action or the event of concern in a purely factual way. Don't embellish, please. The other one is I feel, I felt, and then you have to describe your own feelings in response to the above action or event. For example, sad, angry, hurt, frustrated, etc. Then we have because. After this, you have to describe your interpretation of the event and the reason why you feel the way you do. Then we have the last one is, and what I would like in the future is, or what I would prefer is, and then you have to offer a future alternative that better meets your needs whilst not interfering on the needs and rights of the other person. So now we have here an example. If you combine all this together, it says, when you didn't respond to my suggestion in the meeting, I felt hurt and angry because it seemed that you did not value what I had to say, and what I would like in future is to be given space to express suggestions and ideas. So that was an assertive sentence, okay? So as you become more skilled at communicating in this format, you will feel more comfortable and sound natural. Sometimes you can decrease tension in problem situations with humor, the tone of your voice, and smile as you can make your point. So now let's get a little serious and talk about real life experiences when communication is really a big deal. So let's talk about friends. Communication is one of the most important things you need to have with them. Since you put your trust and confidence in these people, you need to express yourself and also learn to listen. This applies not only for your friends but also to your girlfriend or boyfriend. It is good to consider it even if you're not in a if you're not in a relationship right now, like me. You will sooner or later be one. You will be in one, so you have to know this. Okay, now let's talk about our last thing, that is love. Yay, love. Beautiful, beautiful love. So, well, in my opinion, love can have various meanings, but in my own perspective, I think love is a very beautiful thing and is what life is all about, loving and being happy. But when time passes by, love is more considered a feeling, but a decision. So communication is one of the most important aspects a couple has to have in order to continue the relationship always in the good path. I believe a healthy and constructive boyfriend-girlfriend relationship should be based on giving, or in other words, making the other person happy. And in this way, they would both feel loved. And communication also is a very important characteristic that everyone needs to have in mind when they are in a relationship. And actually, communication is like everything. And if there is no good communication in a relationship, nothing is going to work out. It is very important that you express yourself with your partner and that you will get to know each other better. And there won't be space for secrets or cheating in your relationship. So, what is important? You know that giving in communication the importance it deserves. That will start changing your life in a good way. So, thanks people for watching us. Hope you see our next program. And please comment here if you like it. And we'll see you later. Bye.